Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I, of course, forgot to set up my second monitor. Give me a second. Chat here. Twitch there. And that should be good enough. All right. Yeah, let's get started. So on the probably our stream on the 31st. I mean, there will be streams in between, most likely. But on the 31st, we might do some special task again, not related. I mean, related, we will include it this time into the engine, because last year we did it separate. But probably I will do a... I'm thinking about maybe adding a particle system on the 31st. So that we can maybe have some particles. And maybe redo the fireworks we had. But now properly as a feature in the engine. Anyways. That being said. I did a little bit of work yesterday off stream and the day before. Well, yeah, on the 24th as well. A little bit. And we are almost building on Linux, but I have a problem. I think I can actually open it here, yeah. I have it in the VS Code. Because if we go to build a log, I get a bunch of linker errors with hello, what's up? I get a bunch of linker errors with undefined symbols. And it seems that Visual Studio resolves cyclic dependencies between static libraries better, or like it does it just implicitly for Clang and GCC. I would need to do something to fix it. My holidays were nice, I would say. I mean, I only spent the 24th, the evening, afternoon and evening at my family. Yesterday I wanted to stream, but then I kinda got stuck trying to figure out how to get Linux a little bit closer to working before going live, and then it was kind of late already. But I fixed a couple of warnings, like nothing too interesting, a couple of warnings, and yeah, mostly warnings here. And then I got to this point, tried a little bit to fix it, but didn't find a way to fix it, so I can show what I tried. Where would that be? I think in the project. Where is my project? Not here, but in code. Ah, here. So what I try, well, kind of, actually. It's actually in Onyx, never mind. In here, what I did is, if it's an executable, I did this link group rescan. Only if it's an executable. Because that seems to tell GCC and Clang to check again between those dependencies if it needs to do another scan basically in the reverse direction to see if it can resolve missing symbols. But that doesn't seem to work on this level, is my understanding. I'm not an expert on that by no means, but my understanding is it doesn't work because I'm running this on the wrong dependencies. Mostly because I relinked those basically in like those orders back and forth, but in reality I need internally in edit or to relink those dependencies, I think. I would need to add the rescan on that level. So that here, this volume gets rescanned again with the editor itself, I think. Just something like that. Yes, that's the plan for today. Just break those cycles. So the cycle is, I actually wrote it down, and I think that's the only cycle I need to break. So currently, the thing is that we have Onyx graphics, which defines render graph, for example, shader graph, and those have a draw UI function, which is only defined, have definition for draw UI function, or let's call it draw editor. It's maybe easier like that. And then we have the Onyx editor, which actually implements render graph, shader graph, draw editor. So that's already one problem, because we basically go back and forth here. But that's not really a problem yet, because they don't depend on each other directly. But where the problem comes is that Onyx editor depends / links against Onyx UI. And then Onyx UI depends and links, or links, I mean it depends how you want to see it, on Onyx graphics. And that's where the problem comes, because now you see the the cycle, because Onyx graphics goes to Onyx, needs Onyx editor for this symbol to be defined, but then Onyx editor needs Onyx UI needs Onyx graphics, and then we are in a cycle. So what I think I will do is we break up Onyx graphics into two. I'm not sure what the name would be, but Onyx graphics core or Onyx graphics. This is just raw API abstraction for Vulkan, DX12, whatnot. This one has the Onyx graphics render graph and shader graph in it. This one will then link against Onyx graphics core and Onyx editor. This one currently as well, in theory, or for other modules, for example GameCore, it would do that currently. We remove that. And we remove this. So editor doesn't need graphics anymore. We still need the UI, and this one changes to core. And then the dependency is gone. Because what UI only needs is shaders, textures, etc. It doesn't need anything else. So we shouldn't need a render graph or shader graph in there. If I am correct. There is one remaining question which I need to answer now. There might be a weird thing. No, I think UI actually is just the UI. It doesn't have anything specific there, right? Yeah, it's just UI. Which I think is Fine. Where is the UI task defined? An editor. Does that make sense? Probably not. Maybe it actually does. Because that UI is fairly specific to the editor. But I think that was already long on the list as well to be revisited, that UI task. But that doesn't really matter, does it? Wait. Okay, yeah, we would need to... I would need to move that. But I could move it here, probably. Or into Onyx UI. Let me think. That is actually a small problem. Let me rethink that. How would I solve that? Because I probably would want to have it here. But that would need the render graph, which is a problem. Because for that we would need to link against that, which is a problem again. I could as well. Actually, I could move the UI task here. And it doesn't know. It doesn't know where it gets the data from. And this one pushes the data. Oh wait, if Onyx graphics depends on core and editor, then we technically have the UI in there, so I can. Yeah, that should actually work, probably. That should work. Why does graphics depend on editor? Because we have the editor logic for shader graph and render graph that we need to draw. Those ones. This one. Or that is render graph logic, or those are render graph nodes that we need to visualize in the editor. The only other way around that that is no Linux yet. Yes, that's correct. This is my Linux. Where is it? Here, my WSR. WSR. Shouldn't the data be abstracted away from the UI? That would be a big change, but technically I would agree with you. And it kinda is like that already, but each node So for example, the sample texture node, right? It has a draw in property grid function. And that one is currently defined in the editor, right? The latest point release is missing. Yeah, that one is quite old, yeah. I could update it, yeah. And welcome Strawberry Kitty. Welcome on YouTube. So how would I mean, yeah, technically I agree that this is kinda sucks. But I need that for those node representations. That would work though. I think that setup would fix the issues. And I mean, this one is only if the editor is built, right? We don't do that if we don't build the editor. So we don't link always against it. It's only if we have the editor enabled. In the build options. The only other way around that but it's a little bit more work, but not necessary. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more work. It will pollute the Visual Studio solution a little bit, but I could put it into a folder similar to extern here. Another option would be we keep Onyx graphics as is. We again do that. That one doesn't have a definition for that. Hello. I can't pronounce your name. Sour. Whatever. Something like that. And then we have another graphics editor one, which links against graphics and editor. And that one defines and registers editor, like, or UI functions, UI draw functions. Or render graph and shader graph nodes. And then this one depends on Onyx UI, this one depends on Onyx graphics again, and the actual application would link Onyx editor and Onyx graphics editor, for example, and Onyx game core editor, etc. But that would add another build target. And then the actual application, like the actual runtime game, would not link against that. and would just link against that and that, etc. Would work as well, but this is a little bit more, I mean, it's not as straightforward. This one I could do very simple already without too much changes. This one needs a little bit more logic, but not too much. Not sure, maybe I like that more, even though it's more work. And in actuality, that one wouldn't link against that necessarily. I think UI is fine. Just that. I don't think we need to link against editor per se. But we could. But I think UI makes more sense. Because we don't need the actual logic of the editor. I think. I don't know. Any opinions? Otherwise I will try maybe. Oh god. I'm not really so like I am torn between the two. This one would be way simpler to add right now. This one is probably cleaner overall. Especially this target mostly will consist out of auto-generated stuff, most likely. In the future. Yeah, okay. I mean, let's go for that one. We will do it on Windows first, and then I will test it, just that it runs on Windows, and then we will move it over. And see if Linux is then happy. But it should be, because I don't think we have any... I don't see any circular dependencies with that, but let's see. Alright, so what we would do is... How would I do that? Probably... Let's go here, let's go here. Add another... one here. Why is it like that? Nobody knows. Generate or create editor target. Is it an opt-in or an opt-out? Let's do an opt-out. All of that is fine. If not, no, arg underscore no editor target. I mean for the game We will definitely need something else than ImGUI, because for an actual game to ship, I don't want to do game UI in ImGUI. That will not happen. And at that point, if I build a UI system, we might think of replacing the editor as well with whatever UI system I add. But for the foreseeable future, I think we will stick with ImGUI. I've had some discussion with an old colleague who was, or who still is, well, I think I just need that. Who still is a UI developer at a company. Well, he's actually the lead of a of that department, and he did C++ like a C++ based UI system with a little editor to build UIs, and it has like layouting and everything. But he doesn't want to hand it out yet because he stopped working on it and he doesn't feel comfortable giving it to me. I really asked him a lot already, because I would be his test project, let's say. Would advance his features, but probably have to convince him a little bit more. But yeah, I would want what's the difference? Like not an immediate mode, is it retained, right? I think retained was the word, retained mode UI, and not an immediate mode. For games, I think that makes more sense for the actual game. I think the files he saved, if I remember correctly, were, yeah, either JSON or XML, I'm not sure. I think back in the day when I still was working with him and he started that project, I think it was XML. Maybe he changed already now to XML, I'm not sure. Arc target name. And then we do static here. And that one would be editor. And that would be that. And then I want to set some target properties here. Can I do multiple targets for the set target properties? Where is it? CMake. Can I have more than one target? I can. Okay, cool. Set targets. If arg no editor target. Well, actually, yeah, I needed that. If not, at least I think it's hopefully is that. Or is it maybe all uppercase? CMake if not. Oh, it's uppercase or what? Yeah. Then list. Yep. And I want this here. for the targets. Probably here as well, probably here as well. Well, actually no. If not. Minus editor, arc folder, editor, maybe. Don't need any pre-compiled headers. Probably want this for all the targets again. Targets. Compile defines as well for all the targets. Compile options for all the targets. Yeah, and then here. Where is it? Target link libraries. So I think I will remove that again. And up here, where was it? Nice. Yeah, that's another thing, right? Why I don't really am sold on the C++ reflection yet, that it will help me too much, because yeah, as you say, I want to have... Oh shit, I'm actually implementing them currently in the Linux CMake. Well, whatever, we can copy it over to test. But yeah, I have like those attributes, right? And I cannot do them in C++. There's like no way that like reflection will not help me with that. So it's another reason why I think the reflection is like it's nice that we get it, but I don't think it will solve a lot of... I mean, it will solve some problems, but nothing in particular for me, I think. Target link libraries, and we link here this, and probably in a public way to our target name. Because whatever we need, yeah, because that should basically be a transparent replacement in the editor path, I would say. And we link as well Onyx editor. Do we link Onyx editor, or did I say we link Onyx UI? Probably. Let's do... I think we actually will just link UI. Or do we link editor? No, maybe we link editor. Yeah, I'm not sure. Something along those lines. All right. Let's copy that actually over. So let's open the actual project on Windows for now. And I'm doing it on Windows because it's just a little simpler to do. That's mostly it. I don't think I need the is executable anymore then. I mean, we could have it, but I mean, let's keep it. Do I need anything else? No, not necessarily, I think. I think for the executable, we don't do that either. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if I agree with that bit of, but I mean, yeah, there is, but I mean, it's on in all camps, right? There's the pure Windows purists and macOS, and in anything like programming language is the same, right? It can be quite divided. So I don't think it's necessarily Linux related, or like I don't think that's actually the case. It's just that you always have elitists in all those things. It's just what happens, unfortunately. Let's see if that even does anything. It will not do anything drastically yet, but let's see what we get when we generate that. And I will quickly take a tactical break while it generates. Be right back. All right. Of course it didn't build what I thought. Oh yeah, because most likely... Yeah, that's what I thought. I need to change a couple of things so this works, which is go into Onyx module CMake, and then we need to move editor up quite a bit. Probably somewhere here, maybe even here. Probably even here. Wait, does that make sense? I mean, yes and no. It can be probably here. I think this then dies basically. I think we don't need that anymore. I think I need to do we need to have one thing here, which is this. And if we do that, we do like that. And then we only do one thing, which is here. If defined, I think defined is the one for the target, right? Oh. Target. Ah. That one I want to do, okay. If target Onyx editor. Well, actually we could probably do if arg target name still equals or something like that. Yeah. Damn it. 168. That's cheap. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can get really bargains on Steam. And if... Actually, I want to do a little bit more than that. If not that... How do I do that? I mean, this would be fine for now. Or actually, let's do if target. And not. Then we write out a warning. I think there's a different level here, but Target already defined, and we return actually here. Something like that. Let's see message. CMake message. Hey ho. Covert Ethan. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Probably fatal error in this case. I think we want to stop generating in this case. Oh, sorry. Otherwise we just do that. Now we as well. We of course need to do one more thing for the editor. We of course want to do no edit to a target. And for others as well, like core. I think we don't want one as well. For assets as well, probably. Yeah, I would say so. This one as well. What else? Profiler as well. Probably some others as well. I doubt that, I mean, but maybe. I doubt it will happen. Yeah, you could. You could. That was actually one consideration I had at the start for the code generation, but then I was like, nah. But yeah, you could. Will that be enough? I am not sure. Let's see. Oh, what? 115. 115. Is it not return? Is the return different? CMake return. Do I need to do like the parentheses? Oh yeah, okay. I mean, that's like the weirdest syntax ever. Not gonna lie. Okay. Oh, but that's cool, I guess. Maybe ish. I don't know. No, not Linux yet. CMake really is a special kind of thing. But unfortunately, there's as well not really good alternatives in my opinion. Yet. It's kind of sad, but yeah. Could not find target. If not that, then we added, and then oh, that makes sense. I just don't like macros, so that's why I didn't really go down that route with the macros for the code generator. And in most of my cases, they have like a base class that they inherit from. So yeah. So what I am currently doing is I'm working now still on Linux, on Windows, because we need to fix one thing first, and I want to test it on Windows and then we move it over to Linux. But what the problem with Linux was in my case, which not really is a problem with Linux, it's how stupid I was in the past, tech debt or something like that. So this is a build from my Linux, and then at the linking step we were missing symbols because Clang and GCC link different to MSVC. So MSVC seems to be linking static libraries in a way that it is not a directed acyclic graph, but it just tries to patch missing symbols by going back, looking at static libraries if it finds a matching symbol. So it can handle cyclic dependencies between static libraries. And Clang GCC seem to be able to do the same with a certain linking flag, but I'm now just fixing the cyclic dependency. So what I had was this. This caused like the cyclic dependency because graphics library was used by UI and UI was used by editor, which then implemented a function that was defined in graphics. And now we need to break that up so that we don't have that. Yeah, that's fair. What's up? It's a little bit annoying, yeah. I have to agree with that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a matter of choice what you want to do here. I can definitely not recommend libclang to parse the AST. I can strongly not to recommend that. It was very slow. 3-sit is like way nicer, like way faster, but it doesn't give you the same detail that libclang does. Yeah, libclang has the benefit it basically is a real AST, right? 3-sitter, not really. It's more like a fancy text parser, I would say. Because it doesn't resolve includes for you and stuff like that. Libclang actually goes down and looks in the includes and resolves those as well. Which is then why it gets slow, because it's suddenly looking into the standard library and parsing the standard library. Yeah, it's not bad, but it always there's yeah. You just need to choose the tool wisely. Exactly, it's what it depends what you need. And in my case, I don't need that full-blown syntax tree. Did I fix it now? No, right? Oh, wait. Target compile definitions. Is that not allowed to be as well a list? Seems like no. Seems like it's only allowed to be one. Okay. Well, unfortunate. But does it complain about the target properties as well? No, right? target property. Wait, what? Okay, that's fine. That's the target compile definitions. We can do that. This one. $192. 192. Why would that be the case? Well, let's first fix the other stuff. So this one would be... No, that should be fine. It's this one that he doesn't like, right? Yeah. Maybe we actually add a helper function for that. But I mean, I guess for now I could just duplicate that. I will clean that up. Probably move this to a helper function. That would be arc target name here. And then this would be arc target name editor. Or do I need that actually? Or do I need? I mean, kinda maybe. At least the private defines I would need. The public ones I inherit basically from the parent, but... Target compile options. Wait, maybe it wasn't even... maybe not. Target compile options. Okay, yeah, no. That needs to be specific as well. Let's see. Let's see where we go with that. Probably still, yeah, we still have CMake errors, but I'm not quite sure why it complains about that. Card with non-existing target in 192, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Am I stupid? What? Okay, let's actually... CMake debugger, why not? Well, it should be defined at that point, but I don't know as well why suddenly my thing is right aligned. I have no idea. I've never touched it, and suddenly from one day to another it was suddenly right aligned. It's very funny. Can I just delete all of them? Thank you. Okay. Yeah. We don't have an alias. Interesting. I would have wanted one, but okay. Okay. Oh, that one actually needs where we have no edit target force. Okay, I did that already, or what? Ah, no, wait. Yeah, this one will have one. Can I see if there are arrows already? No. Okay, all of those seem to... Oh, wait. Oh, okay. This one is probably an issue. Yeah. Did I not? I thought I changed that back. Oops. Or I thought I changed them back. Maybe I didn't. It seems like I didn't. Let's just assume it works. Okay. Oh, makes sense. Well, I mean, editor can be here in this. In this instance, I think it can be here. But it could as well be later. It's a little bit of a bigger change, to be honest. It will be actually quite some time to get this running again. But it's good. I mean, we have to do it. Editor. I think I want to remove most of those. And then probably not even input, we just have UI and localization is gone. I mean, maybe we do Onyx input, why not, and Onyx assets, I think. Do I need anything else? Probably not. I mean, nah, that should probably just be automatic by UI. Ah, let's add it. I'm not sure. Just so that it's a little bit simpler. Especially that this sources is like quite a long list. I didn't want to pollute. Like if I want to change, like I change it only here, right? And I don't need to touch the CMake list file in the version controller. Just so that it's a little bit split in terms of where I need to change stuff depending on the context. I think it makes it easier to read instead of scrolling through a CMake file. Although to be fair, those are now very short. But back in the day, they were a little bit more than that. But yeah, that's mostly the reason. Just so that it's a little bit cleaner in my opinion. It doesn't really matter. So that would only depend on UI and that, but we still need to be later in the hierarchy here, right? So I think we can still do it all the way at the end, probably. Okay. Camera component editor. How did I break that? How did I? I mean, I don't really care because I think we removed that, but I still don't know how I did that. But it's this, right? Actually, just remove it altogether. And no, not here. Actually, we can. No, I guess that's fine. Yeah, I think that should at least CMake should pass now with that. I mean, Windows is really a bit weird lately again. Let's do in the game project. No editor target for now. Yeah. That's one reason why I swear I don't really like it currently, Windows and their approach. Yeah. Okay. That's exactly how I would have wanted it. So we have this one, right? This is the core modules. And then we have here the editor implementations for those modules. Granted, I don't think we need all of them. But that would be the idea. And I think we should be fine with that. I'm not sure. I mean, we will definitely not build right now because we are missing a couple of key things probably. But I mean, we can see. But I don't think we will build. Well, that didn't work quite as I would have wanted, but fine. So I doubt that this... yeah, I think we will miss a couple of fires, to be honest. So this will definitely as well output that we have missing... Okay, we even have missing components. Oh, I mean, maybe. Although... No, not quite sure why that would be the case. Am I missing a library here? No. Oh, I removed Oh, you removed the dependency. Makes sense, but I think I wanted to anyways delete that, so we don't need that here. But most likely we still miss, yeah, a couple of things here. Which I think is fine. See, that's why I think it makes more sense in hindsight to actually not link against editor. But actually link against UI. Because I don't think we need the full-blown editor logic. And UI should be fine. Because then what that allows us to do is go back to editor and go a little bit back in the history. Not necessarily have that. I mean, we can probably do that. This would probably be game core. Well, it's fine probably, like that. I might remove this though. But I think that's okay-ish to keep for now. But that was anyways already as well anything something I wanted to look at in the future. Well, and we are in like a cleanup polish version, so we will do that with that now. Really getting the engine in like a state where I'm like done with that. I say that and then sometimes everything like creeps up again. Like smaller things like that. Well, it's not that small, but not huge either. Alright, so we should have all the dependencies again, so we should be able to build again, I think. Ish. While we are still missing the implementations for the editor stuff, but one thing at a time. Input is platform specific, so input and windowing are platform specific. And in theory the file system, because there is some that do not support STD file system in theory. But I don't have those platforms yet. And they will never be public anyways, those platforms. So they will not be part of the platform, like of the official Onyx release because of licensing. If I ever add them. That's a big if, because I doubt I will ever add the consoles. But for example, I think PlayStation doesn't support STD file system. So I would need a platform specific file system implementation for that. Alright, so that's expected that this doesn't work. Okay, cool. I think next step would be fixing the code generator to do a couple of different things now. I think actually what we will do, hold on, two things. Number one is we don't move it here, we move it here, just in editor. Because then the game project will be in there as well, which is fine. We will do that in the executable path as well. Actually, that is... No, that is maybe wrong actually. Let's not do that. Probably. Yeah, Android is a pain, to be honest. Android is really painful. Alright, let me think. Code generator. So what I need is this target type. All of that is fine. This one basically goes away. And then we have, for example, editor.target. Like that. We could do that. Then we go in here. Where? No, not in here. In here. I don't think we need that anymore. Hide all sources. I don't think we need any of that. Edit on target. Let's not do that. Well, yeah, no, let's not do that. We don't even use those anymore, right? Wait a second. I have a weird feeling about this. Is that old? I think it might be. I think that's better. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Yeah, maybe. It's future me. Future me can do that. Yeah, let's see. We want this and then here. As editor target. Maybe there is a generator expression for that. Target exists. Func org editor target. And if that exists, let's add as well a couple of things. Basically this one here. Then can I get that somehow, the binary there? I guess I could get the binary directory of a target. Get target binary there. Maybe it's that. Binary. Oh, binary. It's just binary here. Okay. So it's editor, private binary there. And then off this target. Something along those lines should probably work. Does that exist? I thought that would exist, but maybe not. I'm not sure. I mean, project name? Does target name? I don't think it exists. I don't think that actually... don't think that exists. Because yeah, there are some stuff, some variables that exist like that, but... Ah, okay. Yeah, that explains it. I think that should work. I think that should work. I mean, probably this is then not needed because we have this here, but yeah, whatever. Better have more info than less. And now it's actually nice that I changed this in the Linux branch already. I think this one I need to replace as well, just to be sure. And then here, down at the bottom. Let's just be sure. Let's do that. Like that, and go here. Although I think, yeah, no, that should be similar. Yeah, that should be fine, I think. We would need an include directory here, which I am curious. Again, that's not very beautiful, to say the least. But I will... Hello, Ribbon Man. Welcome, welcome. Would it be the same binary there actually, as it's in the same CMake file? Maybe. Hello, Captain Chica as well. I'm wondering if it is kind of the same thing. It might actually be... Might actually be the same thing. Guess we will find out the hard way. I love it already. Not. I wish I would have never agreed to this endeavor. Thanks for that. Really appreciate that suggestion. Do I? I mean, I like penguins. Don't get me wrong. I have like this one as well on my desk, which is a small penguin. So I kind of like them, but maybe not afterwards anymore. Maybe afterwards I hate them. $20.40. Is it that I didn't know? Actually, no. I didn't know which kind of operating system it is in like the lower levels. I didn't know that. What did I want to do? Oh yeah, here. Well, this one is then different if has editor target. Alright, so we have that, and then here if as editor target, then we do all of that crap. We don't do that. We do a list append on the editor private sources for now. Like that. And this one goes away. Kinda. Sounds reasonable. Don't think we need that anymore. Does that look fine while we do this then? Generated public editor. Let's see what comes out with that. Guess I'm quickly getting something to drink again. Ran out of water. Be right back. Oh, alright. Yeah, that's fine. I is 264. Oh, well, okay, yeah. Guess we can do that. Hello, Rainbow. Thank you as always. For the work you have done today, which you are trying to share now. I took it away. No, just kidding. Alright, so we have a CMake that claims to be running. If you could call it a whiteboard. No, it's pretty nice now. Well, yeah, no, it wasn't meant like that. Or like, I don't know what I wanted to say. Graphics. I thought I would have something here. I guess not. I would have thought I already have one or two fires here, but I guess not. Why? Generated private. Well, that is garbage, right? This should be... Oh no, yeah. What is the toml actually? Let's do that first. It is second grade. It actually moved one back at the whiteboard behind me. Oh, you can see it on stream. It was in 08. And then we realized maybe we need some animations for a game, so I moved it back and moved animations into 08. But yeah, what can I say? It's not final, that list and the order, but it's more or less edit to dear. See, that's what I thought, which is maybe not that bad actually. But we might do a subfolder there, just to be sure. But besides that, that looks fine. So the only question is why would the code gen not work? Or why would the... Because Gamecore has source files there, right? Yeah, it does. So it should have produced files there. Guess we need to do a CMake debugger step again. So I do think we should trigger this. Audio is mostly so far back because there's so much that I would want to do in terms of like not just features, but yeah, there is a couple of like in every version there is like improvements to the debugging or editor that I have on my list that I want to squeeze in. So because I think it would be feasible to do animation and audio in like one step, but yeah. Add to watch. Okay. Good. So is that not done there? Okay, that one is empty. That one has values, which makes sense. That looks correct. Okay. Why is that empty? What did I do again? Oh, I didn't add them here. That's why. Perfect. So with that, I think that should work. And then I will do a couple of smaller adjustments here and there. Well, what? Was that just now? Maybe. Although I am again not sure why that would be the case, but okay. Game core. In 273 here. Source group. Why is that generated in the wrong folder? Probably because I did something stupid. What is that? Go away. Probably because Because that doesn't exist, yeah. That is... We could set a different binary directory, or I leave it as is. What I could do is cmake current binary dir slash generate that. Private, probably. Then this would be here as well. But at that point, maybe I want to actually change that. Let me think, maybe I want to change that slightly, how I do that. Let me think one more time about that. Maybe there is a simpler way to do that. Because I mean that is as well not the actual directory would be. Let's leave the source group out for now. They are not needed anyways. They are like cosmetic. Because maybe I'm yeah, I mean that's a bigger change, not gonna lie. It will maybe take a couple of streams to fix that dependency cycle in like a clean way, but I think that's the that's the better solution than doing it like with a weird compiler flag. Because probably we would end up in other troubles anyways in the future. Okay, so that kinda worked. Question is, do I have sources now? Doesn't look like it. I mean, in game core I should have sources, but I don't. Maybe I need to restart. Because MSVC is a special kind of stupid. I mean, MSVC as well doesn't complain about a lot of things that are technically not correct. It just doesn't care. Because why not? Oh well, okay, well I'm stupid, that's why it doesn't show up. If I add it to the wrong target, it can't work. But I'm wondering if there is maybe a think there should be a better way to do that. At least they have a size defined for it, or type def. I guess, I'm not sure. Is int, what is that? Is that just a type def for int? In MS, like in Windows? Can I find it if I do that? No. Unfortunate. Oh, okay. I see. Where? That sounds like a you problem. Oh, we have source files. Perfect. I'm not sure why I have a precompiled header, but okay. Is it saying that it wants to have a precompiled header? Is it here, right? Okay. Well, unfortunate. I think the other ones don't have that, right? So here, that one probably doesn't have a precompiled header, or? It does. Interesting. Or whatever for now. Nah, I don't have anything against it, to be honest. It's just I thought I didn't use them. I mean, yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on them. Then again, I didn't have to deal too much with them yet myself. Alright, so that kinda does the job that I wanted it to do. So we have now here, or not here, but in game core we have already the generated files. I mean, they have the benefits, right? The precompiled headers, but as well the disadvantages as far as I heard. But again, I'm not too much into that topic. Why do I have entities panel 3 times included here? What the hell happened there? Alright, let me think. So we have that part stripped out now. And the idea would be how does that help me now? So the idea would be that this thing, this editor solution, now is able to actually produce the code for the editor. I mean, we didn't do it because we didn't run the generation yet. But that would be the idea. And then probably here Why would we do it here, or would we do it? I mean, yeah, basically this code here, this editor code would be removed. That's the plan. And other editor code, like... Is it this one? No. Oh, it's the sample texture, no, but where is that? Isn't that here? Ah, it's in the shader graph, right? Sorry. Somewhere here. This one has a custom logic, like this function would move out of the actual class. And instead of having... Let me go back to my notes. Yeah, exactly. We want to do this, which needs a new step in between, which we don't have yet. Okay, yeah, I think I have an idea how to do it. But let me clean up the... Let me think if I can clean up the file here. Because technically... Let's do two things here. Duplicate. Well, duplicate is probably a wrong idea. Let's do a couple of things. First of all, this part here. Well, is that the... Oh, that's Linux, never mind. This one is the right one, yes. So two things. Let's remove the code generation here. That is the code gen, right? Yeah. And let's add a function. No. Here. Oh wait, am I missing an end if now somewhere? No, probably not, right? It's fine. Fine TM. What is that? Ah, I know what that is. Okay, yeah, that's a helper function. We need that. Alright, so that's that. And then the other part is this basically. cleaning up a little bit so that we can reuse some code. Okay. And then this is the actual target code. Which is fine mostly. Mostly that's fine, but I think what I want to do is a little different. I think that is all fine. Maybe at here I split off? Or do I already split off here? Maybe I split off here already. Not quite sure where the best split off is. Because basically I think what I want is... Let me see. So basically what I want is we go into Onyx, for example. And then modules game core, and I think what I'd want is, and then we are very close, unfortunate, or not unfortunately, but very close to the way Unreal handles its folder structure. But maybe we do something similar like that, where we have like a runtime, or I mean, we could leave it as private public. Maybe that's fine actually. But I thought maybe this would be moved into runtime, right? This whole struct thing would be go in here, and then we have another split off here as editor. And that's the editor solution. And then we have two separate targets already at that level, and it makes this code in CMake a lot easier. But I don't think I need that per se. This would be good enough already as well. And then in here I would as well have we could even now, if we already added, rename it to includes and source or something like that. But I mean, probably I will stick with private and public. benefit of that is it would be its own binary dir and stuff like that, and we don't mix and match the folders. Which is the main reason why I would want to do that. Maybe I like that runtime stuff from Unreal actually, that's not such a bad idea. Because this would basically go in there. Out here we have just one. And then in here I would have as well. Do I dare to copy paste that? No, not really, but basically I have another CMake list file here. With actually that thing. Something along those lines. And this CMake file is actually quite... Alright, this one doesn't exist. This one would just be more or less an add subdirectory. Like that. Well, actually the runtime probably before the editor. Well, maybe not even that, actually. Slightly different, probably, what I have in mind. Most likely this CMake file doesn't... Oh, wait. No, then we're back to square one, actually. Then we have the same binary directory. I mean, I don't... Do I mind the same binary directory? Probably not too much, but... Would need to think about that. Build custom build system, hell no. How hard could it be? Nah, I mean, it's not hard. It's more like trying to think what I like most. That's all. It's not about difficulty. It's about what I think would be nice. Because if I change it now, I want to do it that I don't have to change it again in the foreseeable future. So I'm trying to think ahead. If I do that, how does that look in the build directory? So we would go into Onyx, game core. No, that actually works. We can maybe just stick with that. Just have an editor subfolder that again has a private public in there, and probably its own. Do we need that? Yeah, probably. Let's do that. Let's have its own dependencies and source definitions. I think that makes sense. And then this CMake here. Would be this. And yeah, in here. This would become slightly different. Where I mean, yeah, let's copy paste that and let's strip out stuff. So this one would become Onyx at target. Yeah. End function. I guess I did remove too much or what? Oh no, okay. And then this goes away. Most of that stuff. Probably goes away. Let's go from the top, maybe that's easier. Let's leave the add target as is for now. So that's the copy of what we had. And then in here I parse that crap. And I build all my stuff if it doesn't exist. Ah, I think I know what I could do for that. Probably over-engineered that a little bit. But basically what I would most likely want to do is if exists, that should be a file exists, right? CMake if. Yeah. So if exists editor on path, then we add an editor target. If that doesn't exist, we don't. And then here, what we would do is add Onyx add target with, yeah, the target name. Well, actually, we don't need anything here. Everything should be defined. And then we do Onyx target code generation and Onyx target install. And this would be Onyx add target, where we do so maybe we give it a target name. Currently I handle them with the up-down event, yeah. I think they have a modifier in the key event. Input system. Handle native input. So I think there is sometimes in the VM key down, or maybe I'm imagining that. I'm not sure. But you can always look them up, right? The events. That would be the only thing that I would know of, and then, yeah. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, so they have it kinda in there, but only, as you said, for some of them. So I think that's why I track them manually. And then there's this one, which is see, maybe that's actually the issue why I'm like not handling alt tab correct, because of the system key down message. Maybe I shouldn't consume that, I'm not sure. Future me. Future me. Alright, so then we would do this and this and this. Actually, I first want to create the target. And then I want to do the subdirectory. And I think I want to then delete all of that crap. I don't want that anymore. This one as well, we don't need that. We have that all up there. Well, kinda. I have it all up there. Don't think I want that anymore then. Like all the no editor target thing I want to remove. Because I think that's then implicit. Okay. Good enough, I think. Might actually work. Do I need to set anything? Question is, do I want to do it like that? I think I do. Maybe I want something. I thought of something, but I can't remember anymore. There was one thing that I wanted to do. So this one I then. I think I still need that. There was one thing I wanted to do. With the editor target specifically. Oh yeah, I wanted to be able to set the target name. Although we could maybe do that by... Let's do that target name. And we give it this. And maybe we do... Would that work? Another problem is none of those work. Yeah, now my CMake path, arguments, whatever function thing bites me a little bit how I cleaned that up. I think 2-3 weeks ago. Because they are already defined in this case, then I cannot override them. With the add subdirectory it would work. But there is another caveat to that I don't like too much. I do that and I have a target suffix, would that work? So basically I would do if public base tier does not exist. The thing is, why did I even add it like that? I don't think I want to ever override that. Don't think I use that anywhere. Yeah, we have this override, which is fine. What define was it even? Oh, the Vulkan one. Wait. Yeah, okay, fine. Although a little bit weird. That makes a little bit more sense what that does. The UI one is a bit more sane. Okay. Yeah. It's probably that. Probably most likely I just remove a couple of defines here because I don't think we need a lot of them. But I think I will do that not today. Well, maybe today later, but I need a break a little bit from CMake. It's killing me. CMake is really not fun. So I will probably do it a little bit later today off stream. CMake is anyways not that interesting to people most likely. Splitting that up nicely. But yeah, that should fix the problem, and I think I have most of it. I'm not sure if I go the route of having the layout like that, or I add another subfolder here which is called runtime and move that part in there basically. It doesn't really add a whole lot. It makes this maybe a little bit nicer if that's gone like that. Again, that's very similar to what Unreal does then. Which is not a bad thing necessarily. I guess they had the reasons as well why they did that, just to keep it's a little bit cleaner in the folder structure. I just don't like the name runtime too much. But then again, it's basically what it is. I will think about that and fix that, because if it's a subfolder or not doesn't really matter for the grand scheme of things. Yeah, kinda like that. What's up? Currently all my engine systems run on the main thread. I do have a present thread which just runs the Vulkan present. And then there is, in theory, the groundwork done for a render thread, or like a render thread pool. Like I would run command buffer queuing in like up to 4 thread, let's say. I think currently was the plan. So that's basically like a graphics thread which the render graph would run in. And yeah, I don't think I would multi-thread my engine systems because they are not meant to run any heavy logic. But the entity component systems, they would be multi-threaded and on a thread pool, yeah. It can't, I mean, how do I say that? My window thread currently lives in its own thread. So my native window is a thread handler, like is a thread. So I have like the main thread and the window thread, and the window thread is the one that needs to handle the input. You cannot, this one needs to handle the window messages. You cannot do that in a separate thread. So your input system somehow needs to run in that thread or needs to get its stuff forwarded from that thread. No, I moved it into a separate thread. That's mostly to keep the main thread running while the message loop of the window might be doing stuff. Because in the window loop, where is it? Update. Am I blind? Oh, here. So this could block. Because those translate and peak and whatever, those could block, and I never wanted to block the main thread. So that's why my window runs it in its own thread. And that's actually something that I saw a couple of engines do. Not sure if Unreal does it, but yeah. Well, I mean, it processes messages. It doesn't necessarily block, but yeah. I didn't want to have like window logic blocking my main thread. Let's put it that way. It's not really blocking in that sense, but yeah. I mean, this takes CPU time, right? So I didn't want to have that on the main thread. That's mostly it. Especially if you have multiple windows, you need to handle multiple windows anyways as well. And I don't want to run all the windows on the same thread. So if you would have multiple windows, this would now create a thread. Yeah, I mean, that's more or less, yeah, that's very similar. It's just that I thought of maybe I add multiple windows, right? And then those couldn't run on the main thread anymore. because there would be only one window on the main thread, and what do I do with the next window? But that's mostly an issue for editors and stuff like that, right? For a game, you always have only one window, most of the time. Not that I know of, no. But again, maybe not a complete expert there, but I wouldn't know what an advantage there would be. Alright, I will think about all of that and cry a little bit that I have to change so much. Why did I again say I will do Linux? Can I not just pay someone to do it? No, just kidding. Alright. Thank you very much for joining. I will be back. What's tomorrow? Saturday. Yeah, I will be back tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, it's anyways better how it will be. True, you kinda did, that's fair. Although the hourly rate for that is a little bit... I mean, it's games business scaled, right? So that's fine, maybe again. It's the average hourly rate for a game developer. Yep. I will be back tomorrow. Have a nice rest of your day. See you tomorrow. You paid above him. I'm not sure. I hope not. Yeah, Rainbow, thank you for updating the timeline while the whiteboard and stuff like that. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Have a nice evening, and yeah, hopefully we have by then I figured out how to do. Well, I cleaned up the CMake up until then. Didn't do more than that. Have a great night. Bye bye.